Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves lately, a story that's equal parts fascinating and controversial. Imagine this, newly declassified FBI memos reveal that back in 2017, the Bureau launched a secret investigation into whether Donald Trump's firing of James Comey was somehow tied to Russia. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just about the firing. The probe, codenamed Oxford, actually explored whether Trump himself was a Russian asset. Yes, you heard that right. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, personally, I think this is where things get really intriguing. The name Oxford, is bizarre, it's like someone misspelled Oxford on purpose. What's the story there? Is it a typo, a code, or something else entirely? It's a small detail, but it immediately makes you wonder about the level of secrecy and urgency surrounding this investigation. And let's be honest, in the world of intelligence, even the smallest details can carry weight. What makes this even more compelling is the scope of the probe. The FBI wasn't just asking if Trump fired Comey because of Russia. They were questioning whether Trump was actively working with Russia in a way that threatened national security. That's a massive accusation, and it raises a deeper question. How did we get to a point where the sitting president of the United States was under investigation for potentially being a foreign asset? It's not just about politics, it's about trust, credibility, and the very foundations of democracy. In my opinion, this investigation also sheds light on the tangled web of the Trump-Russia narrative. Remember, this all started with the Crossfire Hurricane probe in 2016, which looked into possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russia. But what many people don't realize is that the Comey firing wasn't just a random act of presidential authority. It was seen as a potential obstruction of justice, a move that could have been orchestrated to derail ongoing investigations. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a story about Trump, it's a story about the blurred lines between politics, national security, and foreign influence. Now let's talk about James Comey for a second. Comey's role in all of this is fascinating. He was the one who launched Crossfire Hurricane, and he was also the one who handled the Clinton email investigation, which, by the way, Trump initially cited as the reason for firing him. But here's where it gets messy. Comey's actions during the 2016 election, like announcing the reopening of the Clinton email probe just days before the vote, were highly controversial. Was Trump firing Comey out of genuine frustration, or was it a calculated move to protect himself? What this really suggests is that Comey's dismissal wasn't just a personnel decision, it was a potential turning point in the entire Russia investigation. One thing that immediately stands out is how this story connects to broader trends in American politics. The Mueller investigation, which followed Comey's firing, found that Russia did interfere in the 2016 election but didn't establish that the Trump campaign conspired with them. Yet, the Oxford, probe shows that suspicions about Trump's ties to Russia persisted even after Mueller's report. This raises another question. Were these investigations driven by legitimate concerns, or were they politically motivated? From my perspective, it's a mix of both, and that's what makes this so complicated. A detail I find fascinating is the recent Durham report, which concluded that the FBI lacked sufficient evidence to launch the full Crossfire Hurricane investigation and exhibited bias. But here's the twist, newly declassified documents also reveal concerns about the Clinton campaign's efforts to smear Trump by linking him to Russia. There's even a letter from someone connected to the Open Society Foundations suggesting that the Clinton team planned to use the Putin supports Trump narrative to distract from her own email scandal. If you think about it, this isn't just about Trump or Russia, it's about how both sides weaponize this narrative for political gain. What makes this really interesting is how it reflects the polarization of American politics. Both parties have accused each other of collusion, obstruction, and bias. But what's often lost in the noise is the bigger picture. How did we reach a point where allegations of foreign influence became a central part of our political discourse? Personally, I think this story is a symptom of a deeper issue, the erosion of trust in institutions and the rise of conspiracy theories. When every move is viewed through the lens of suspicion, it becomes nearly impossible to separate fact from fiction. If you take a step back and think about it, this entire saga is a cautionary tale about the dangers of politicizing national security. Whether you believe Trump was unfairly targeted or that he crossed lines, one thing is clear: the lines between politics, intelligence, and foreign policy have become dangerously blurred. And that's a problem for everyone, regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum. So here's my closing thought: this story isn't just about Trump, Comey, or Russia. It's about the fragility of our systems and the importance of accountability. What many people don't realize is that these investigations, no matter how justified or flawed, have lasting consequences. They shape public perception, influence elections, and redefine the boundaries of presidential power. As we move forward, I think it's crucial to ask ourselves, how do we ensure that these kinds of probes are conducted transparently and without bias? Because if we don't, we risk losing something far more valuable than political points. We risk losing our faith in the system itself. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.